see out my final race commentating on this division for this season. We'll see if I revisit the next game, and if I get racing on it, if I get commentating on it, I'll make sure to let you all know. We're just loading into the lobby now. We've got a short qualifying and a 50% race, 36 laps around the streets of Sao Paulo. There's only 15 corners on this track, but the infield section makes it feel like it goes on for an age and actually does build up quite a reasonable lap time. But as we get into the session, obviously it wouldn't be an F1 event without mentioning that today, obviously, we commemorate 30 years since the death of Roland Ratzenberger and Justin Ayrton Senna. For many, the reason we all go racing, watching the superheroes that they were, people that still jump into cars today. They are superheroes. They risk their life every single time they go out onto the track. The sport is dangerous and people do get hurt. But yeah, two people that were at the forefront of all motorsport. Ayrton Senna even more so. He was a figure, not just of Formula One, but his home in Brazil, where we are today, is the reason that so many young kids, so many of the drivers on the grid go racing. It's why the F1 games are so popular, because Formula One is made by the brand that this brand stands on the shoulder of, the absolute superstars that are the drivers, those that live and those who have ultimately given their lives for the entertainment and joy of millions and billions around the world. So this evening we race for them. We race for all those who are near to them, dear to them, and who go racing for them on track and in the esports world every single day. I hope you all enjoy this evening, and we'll get down to some action now. Now, my long-standing tradition is the first man out onto the track, or at least leads over the start-finish straight, gets my attention for their first lap. And we have picked up Solid Ninja Snake, who wants to get going right away in the red, white, and black. Well, the black just being unpainted carbon at this point. But down the hill, down the center S he goes, taking as much curbing as you can on the inside, outside, and then back to the inside again. With a new fresh rubbing on this game, not scrubbing too much tyre off, he can really get his foot down. He now goes into the Sino de Lago. You can hang it out quite wide, get a slingshot back up the hill towards Federura. As you see, when you're sat at that eye level, you really can't see much. The apex is blind to you. You're trusting on your peripherals and what you can see. Goes down and back up the hill once again. Towards a very tricky braking zone here. You have to brake in a straight line, but try and get the car turn. It's the earliest opportunity. Down the hill, easy flat in an F1 car nowadays. The car goes slightly light as you go into there. And now, one of the most key acceleration zones in the whole entire calendar. You go around three corners that aren't really corners to F1 cars. Cuts to pit lane entry, which is you're allowed to do. Keeps it to the wall. Use up all his ERS and to the line, and sets a very respectable 108.6 starting off. And coming around, well, it's quite hard to pick this out, and that's Tedic going P3. And Gulmarv just starting a lap. I picked some people that are finishing. So we've got both the Aston Martins coming across the line. Bachelor Lightyear first, who has just popped at P3. And then Creamer with a 108 flat. Absolutely slapping Solid Ninja Snake off the top there. Who else we got coming up? About Pedro. Pedro's been an absolutely fantastic qualifier so far this season. Really pulling that bag at certain tracks. Not been overly consistent with the others that he was competing against, but doing a fantastic job nonetheless to pick up the performances where he has done. Looking super planted around here, maybe running a fair bit of downforce. Got a quarter of his tank left on his ERS, so what can he do? He is purple in the middle sector, and up the hill he goes. Very undulating this track. You really got to make sure that your car can adjust to it as you go around. That's the car drift out wide, unlike Solid Ninja Snake, and does beat him. Oh, only a few thousandths in it. With my maths like that, it's only 7 thousandths between Creamer and Pedro. Persegili, the championship winner this time around, reliving the Mercedes dominance of years gone by as he comes up towards Mergulho. I do apologise to any Portuguese or Brazilian listeners that I'm butchering their language on. And Persegili, yeah, flying up towards here, chooses the straight line, all this line, and once again shaves 1/4 of a second off Creamer there. So yeah, great start. So Creamer in touch with Persegili, and I can imagine the trunk is just going to keep ramping up. But Gulmov, who has been thereabouts this season, it looks like he might even get a little bit of a toe coming across the line here with the Red Bull that's ahead of him. He's going to latch onto the back of him like a mouse on some cheese. Hope he doesn't get snapped. Here he goes. And up to P5 with 108.8. Driver's still out on a lap. We've got Simu Rally Monster, who goes purple in the first sector. We'll stay on board with him. Up towards Ferradura. Let's not take too much of the first curbing, a little bit of the second. You can hang it quite wide there, but if you get too far over it, you can get quite unsettled. Takes quite a tight line. I'm not going to attempt to say that. I've got a cheat sheet to my left, and I'm trying to read it as I'm commentating, and it's not going well. Passes the Ferrari, who gets out of the way well. Purple in the middle sector still for Simu Rally Monster. Oh, but gets a little bit twitch on the exit. That might cost him in this final sector. All he can do now is get his foot down, open the DRS when he gets the detection, which is just here, and he'll pull over just like everybody else has. Keeps the left, straight line, it's the line. What has he done? A P4. I do suspect he's maybe lost about 2/10 wiggling off the final corner there. Rising Moon just being rolled back into the pits. Got Max Duke unfortunately on an invalid lap, but he might just be on an out lap here, but he's saving his ERS. Potentially he's going to go again. Got the Haas drivers of Simu Rally Monster and Sun Ninja Snake locking out the second and third row there. And they are back out on track. So I'm going to experience a little bit of traffic there, but nothing too bad as long as that's his preferred line. Oh, he's purple. Oh, and those big snap drivers are really putting their foot down early now. Looks like he's trying to pull for a line into the pits. Hopefully he's not scrubbing too much speed. Does improve by 2/10, but does not move himself up position. He needs another 1/10.5 for that. What about his teammate, Simu Rally Monster? Pulling into the pits, it seems. We're back on board with Creamer, though, who's on his out lap. Off he goes, using up his ERS early, which is the right thing to do. You want to hit this start-finish line at maximum speed, especially as it's uphill and really affect your braking if you're not quite on the pace. Oh, very planted through there. He didn't quite hit the first apex, then comes down and hits the second one nicely. Let the car run out nicely. Some drivers really will try and push it to hold the inside there. It's a little bit of a wiggle coming around the Sino Lago. Very committed on the inside there. Keep it pinned in 6th. Playing chicken with the track limits. The AlphaTauri gets out of his way well. Thank goodness I'm not going to call it Visa Cash App RB. At least until next season. Yeah, like I mentioned before, this middle spot here, super easy now. Now he's got 45 thousandths in hand, and that will be enough to move him up slightly, but not quite past Persegili. We'll move him away from Pedro though, that's for sure. Gets into the 107s as well. Great lap, but not quite matching Persegili just yet. Well, Tezic and a Red Bull are having a bit of a dice there. Maybe not optimal, but I think he's on his way in, is Tezic. Max Duca on his outlap, just getting started. There's a Ferrari behind him. Only one Ferrari. Lucas also on an outlap. Let's find out all you guys some action. Got Phoenix just crossing the line. Man who promised me dive bombs this evening, would you know? Brings us up a place into P11 with a respectable 1-9 flat. Tezic going very aggressively into the pits. How's Gulmarv doing? I don't think he was too happy with his first lap. Heavy on the brakes up the hill. Very, very, about the smoothest exit of the final corner I've seen. He's even got a little bit, the slipstream's got well out of his way. He'd have appreciated that, I'm sure. Where does he go? Does improve by 4 attempts, but once again, doesn't really move up that far. I think he was 8th, moving up to 6th. Simirelli wants to having another crack at it. He's got almost 1.5 tenths in hand now, which won't move him up at the moment. He wants to crack this P3, he needs to find another 2 tenths. But he is driving very confidently. The Haas in real life has been very strong in qualifying recently in the hands of Nico Hulkenberg, and then very handy and very dangerous on track in the hands of Kevin Magnussen. They're just holding his gear in there. Bit of an unorthodox line into the final bend, I think, or maybe he's backed out here. He's still using, so we'll see this conclusion. No, and he's coming in. Persecuting invalid, but out again. We're back Pedro to the line. Gains a little bit in the final sector, but doesn't improve enough. We have solid Ninja Snake coming around. He's got a Mercedes for company into Ferradura. Oh, a bit snaky on the exit there. Very heavy on the inside curbing. Lets himself pull out wide. Next to the tight line at the bottom of the hill, and powers out now. Now there's a few ways you can tackle a few of the corners around here, which is what I love about racetracks. Racetracks should be designed in a way that you can take multiple lines through them. Different lines of attack for different setups, different driving styles, and I think that's what makes racing. That's what makes this a true fan favourite. Sonia said, not looking like he's going to improve on this lap. We'll have to have found quite a lot in the final sector. Yeah, down by 2 tenths. What about Bachelor Lightyear? Up by 2 tenths. Which will get him past Super Jesse, who he's been battling with a lot this season for the midfield positions. Oh, a bit of a loose end there, going into Laranja. If there's any Brazilian people or Portuguese people in the comments, I'd love to have a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I'm butchering these or doing any sort of well. If I am butchering them, I promise I'll stop. But here comes Bachelor Lightyear, trying to get into the 108s, and does so with the 108.8. Does jump Super Jesse, but got a little bit way to go to catch Max Duca. But Super Jesse is responding right away. 3 tenths up here. He's going to easily jump Bachelor Lightyear as long as he gets his exit done well here. This could even put him up to P7, P6 if this carries on the way he's been improving. It was a 108.5. Yes, does jump Max Duca as well. Not too many drivers out on track at the moment. We've got Phoenix. Lets him to take the track all by himself. Watching Creamer exit the pits as we speak, so we'll pick up with him a little bit later on. And I think actually Max Duca, not Super Jesse. So yeah, we'll stay on board with Phoenix for his lap. Down the centre as he goes, a little bit on the wide side. Means he can't get the power on as quickly as it comes out the center S. Decides to play with the game physics and holds it very, very tight out of the exit, is all I have it known as in my book. Going round the Cena Largo, not looking overly confident. How's he doing with his Delta? We'll get that in just a moment. Alright, he's I think he's backed out of this one. As Jesse heads in. So we are waiting for the track to warm up. Yeah, Super Jesse, the only one out on track at the moment. Doesn't seem to be using anything. But we'll pick up Creamer, who is definitely going to start a lap now, I'd assume. I'm not sure what was going on there, but Creamer seems to be holding his brake down the straight, and is still holding his brake. Not sure if that's a fault, or he's trying to do a double out lap and get heat into his tyres. We'll pick up with him a little bit later. This time we'll go back on board with Phoenix. He's just navigated a little bit of traffic with that Aston Martin of Creamer. But he's definitely using ZRS now. And the hill he goes. It seems to be missing the sector times, I'm guessing. Here, so I'm not able to tell you if he's up or down. Oh no, there we go. He's a tenth and a half up. He's going to dump the rest of his RS on this straight. It's probably the last real push lap that he gets, but that'll be okay. If anyone in the comments would like to confirm if that's what Creamer's doing, we much appreciate it. It does improve by 1/10, as they must have lost a little bit out of the final exit there. Yeah, here goes Creamer. This looks a lot more promising for a push lap. Use all of the outside curbing there. More painted tarmac than curbing, but you can run your tyres over it effectively. Who cares? DRS wide open, right on the money. And in he goes. Potentially could have been a little bit more aggressive there, but he's making sure he gets a stable exit up the hill. Keep as much revs as you can, because you want to be able to shift up here for the stability. Going down all the way into second gear. You can take this one in third. So it's not to unsettle the car when you plant the power down on the exit. As you want to straight line this braking, but you want to turn in as soon as you lift off your brakes. Once again, this is pretty much flat in fifth gear, shifting up to sixth. Nail your turning point, let it run out. You want to be on the power as early as possible with your wheels straight and true. Now we need a good improvement here to knock Persegili off his perch. What can he do? He does improve, but not enough. That is some time by Persegili. And Pedro is already invalidated. So I feel his qualifying is over. But what about Gormov? Is a tenth and a half up. To take himself off the third row. What can he do? Puts himself fifth. Moves up marginally. Splits the Haas drivers. Tezic coming towards the line, but down. Unless he's found something magical in this final sector. Did find a 10th, but nothing quite enough. Dispatcher Lightyear coming across the line and into the pits. Haas drivers. Simi Rally Monster up by 2 tenths. Oh my goodness! Snatches P2 off Creamer. Max Duca in. Pedro up to 4th. Creamer will be coming in, I'm sure. And I believe that is it for qualifying, everybody. The Simi Rolling Monster coming out of absolute nowhere to snatch what almost seems to be a 2-horse fight for P1. And we absolutely missed Persegili. Actually, in the end, improved his time by another 2.5 tenths. So hats off to him, the championship winner, 2-time back-to-back champion in AOR F1. The drivers are going to peel into the pits now, and we are going to get a rundown of the results and move into our 36 lap feature race of the Brazilian Grand Prix here in AOR. So there you have it. You have Persigili followed by Stimirano. So a valiant effort. Doesn't matter if he's 3.5 tenths away. A second place is all he was after, I'm sure. Followed by Creamer, Pedro. He got very close towards the end, but that target just kept moving away from him. Got Sonic Ninja Snake, who's topped off the session to begin with, and did hold a very good lap time towards the end. Max Duke will be looking to move forward past those cars. Probably a faster man in race trim than in quali. Gulmarv, once again, is using a common battle with Max Duke, will look to move forward as well. Tezik, who's held very prominent off strategy positions in the past, will lead Lucazone and Super Jesse's round up the top 10, followed by Bachelor Lightyear, Phoenix, Castle, and Rising Moon. Race winner and Pulses previously electing not to run qualifying in this session. So I see some people watching. Thank you very much for joining us. Like, subscribe. There's so much to come from this channel, not just F1, iRacing, Gran Turismo, Assetto Corsa, and Assetto Corsa Competizione. Yeah, join the Discord. I'm sure there'll be availability to do so if you head towards the League Channel's site. And yeah, we'll hope you get involved in the action if you feel like it. So now we are just waiting for the drivers to set up their tyre strategies, their fuel strategies. Obviously, no more need to pit for fuel. I do wonder at any point in the future they have to be pitting for battery recharge, but that is something for the future. Maybe just a quick battery insert and off you go. That'd be quite interesting. It's already a piece of technology in development. But for now, they fuel for the entire race, often under fueling, to account for safety cars and just that little bit of extra lap time. So yeah, it's probably just a one-stop race this, but safety cars are often plenty around Brazil, and the soft tyre does give you such an advantage around here. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a two-stop strategy. It's not too much for slow pit here as well. I'd probably only say it's about 24 seconds, 21 to 24 seconds, depending on the length of your stop. Seeing as once you get out of that pit lane, you can plant your foot and be exiting the pit lane at racing speed down the Sena de Largo. In a moment, we are going to hand over to Crofty, who is going to lead us around the formation lap, and then I'll be taking over when we have 5 lights, and away we go. So if you're in the comments, you'd like to drop a prediction for the race winner. Obviously, an easy bet is Persigili, so since he's qualified on pole and won the vast majority of the races this season, sort of like betting on Max at this point. But the gaps are getting closer. The man must be getting tired of winning, and surely someone will affect him now. Over to Crofty.
To see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
See a lot of mixed tyre strategies there. Max Duke on the soft looking to get some early moves done, especially on those hard tyre runners. Will really slow him down if he's really done.
Let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
I'm sure it will, Crofty. I'm sure it will. Here we are then as we line up. Racing for Ayrton, racing for Roland in Ayrton's home city of Brazil, Sao Paulo. We're going to get man waving a green flag. We're going to get some red lights. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, and we're holding. Away we go. Looks like a good start for Simi Rally Monster there, but Creamer has already dipped up alongside him. Can he squeeze into the inside? Yes, he can. And looks like they're all getting through relatively cleanly. Some side-by-side action towards the back. First three have got away, but then we've got a lot of mixing at the back. Oh, he's got a huge, huge accident. Out there is Super Jesse and Lucas, and we are already going to go into a virtual safety car. Huge, huge accident there. Says virtual, but from what I can see, there is a yellow car coming out the pits. I'm hoping this doesn't mean we're going to have to see a glitch. If any of the drivers are listening to the streaming on virtual, do expect to get picked up by the safety car. There's just waiting before turn 4 for you. I do wonder, someone like Max Duca on the soft tyres might elect to pit here. Oh, I saw. We're looking down from Decina Largo. Robbie, are you one of the drivers that you could give us maybe a bit of a rundown of exactly what happened? The game has finally recognised it is a full safety car, which is good. Another drivers will form up behind the safety car for a few laps. That Rising Moon has managed to escape that incident with nothing more than damage, so he will be able to carry on. Oh, we've got a tour of the Mercedes garage here. Don't often get that view, but off goes Rising Moon to go and catch the pack with nice fresh medium tyres. So as we've mentioned, safety cars are aplenty around this track. Maybe Rising Moon could limp home like Ayrton did in 91. If he hasn't got a gearbox problem, which is what Senna had. And what drive that was, the guy only had, I think it was 6th gear left. Had to hold the gear lever in place with his left hand all the way to the finish line. Still setting fastest laps. And when placed on the podium, could barely hold the trophy above his head, as was the exhaustion of the man. And we should be getting going at the end of this lap. The grid has formed up. So we can look at some early moves and changes. So Creamer jumping solid into Snake off the line, great job there. As well as Simi Rally Monster just getting bogged down at the start. It was like an initial first phase was good, and he got bogged down in the second. Pedro's big loser there, dropping down from P4 to P7. And then others mostly just benefiting off the retirements of those. Being Super Jesse and Lucas Zone. Max Duca thinking he's still got good amounts of life in these soft tyres, and he's going to give this another go. And Persegili having to jump this start here with what will be now cold hard tyres. And he's going to wait to pull the trigger. Very, very cautiously taking this. Oh, he gets a little bit of wheel spin as he sets off as that let Creamer into the door. No, he just about gets that sorted out, but I saw a little dive back there. That was the Simi Rally Monster having a few shapes in by Gulmarv. Gulmarv ever closing, pick up the slipstream really, really nicely. I've seen Tezik trying to make his way around Bachelite, nothing doing. Rising Moon with the fresh tyres picking off Castle straight away. He's looking for another one. And he gets it. Oh, a little tap with rear wheels, but all was fine there. Space was given. Creamer not letting go of Persegili after what he saw from the restart there. Needs to get something done soon. He has still got a bit of a tyre advantage here in terms of performance. Now, can he pick up a good slipstream here? Get himself close for the centre S's and then launch it down the Cine de Largo. It does seem so. He is sort of dropping Solid Ninja Snake, and he is the fastest man on track at this moment. These mediums serving Creamer well. No DRS for at least one more lap, I think. You can see a little bit of a gap behind him. This will give him the confidence to pressurise Persegili, who is driving excellent by the way, but as there is movement out the back, as it looks like Bachelite has pushed Tezik wide, but Tezik comes back and now has been passed by Rising Moon. Maybe a dive just gone wrong, as Rising Moon gets a little bit shaky over the curbing there. Max Duca not quite making the impact so far that he'd have hoped those soft tyres would have given him. But the front two are doing such a good job of stretching this. There's nobody really holding up anybody at the moment. And that's another one round, and that is Pedro. Unsure whether he's just spun it himself or has maybe been tagged. DRS has been enabled, so we go back up to the front because now Creamer will now exit onto the Cine de Largo and get his rear wing open. Half a second is the gap. And he's going to close all the way to the braking zone, but will he get up alongside? He does, and into the Cine de Largo he goes. Just run it all the way wide, make sure he carries all the speed. Persegili's not done with him yet though. He looks for a move to the outside. Creamer covers him off. Creamer just running all the right lines here, carrying all the speed. Don't let Persegili just on an inside spook you. Now Tezik wants these positions back that he lost. Tezik, very, very fast driver, but maybe just being a bit subject to the pace, the true pace of these hard tyres. Gormov's going to have another crack here. Simeri wants it, is in DRS, so he does have that protection, but he has dropped a little bit off the back of Solid Ninja Snake, so may not have it for all that long. Creamer with DRS on that last lap, setting an absolute blistering fastest lap. Also, I just saw Max Duke going a little bit deep there. Maybe he can pull it back together. Yeah, Gormov is definitely coming here. But it looks like Simi Rally Monster's got good speed in the straight line. But Khrushchev just spots Simi Rally Monster now dropped out of the DRS of his teammate. I'm not seeing too much in the way of team coordination in this league so far. Everybody's very much out for themselves. Oh, as that Simi Rally Monster's off. Round he goes. You have to watch for his rejoin here. He rejoins with a bit of space to Pedro at the rear. Unsure what happened there. That leaves the Haas of Solid Ninja Snake to have to fend off Gulmarv while he attempts to close on him. Gulmarv, who will thank him for the open space, but won't thank him for the lack of DRS detection he's now got. He's going to need to catch on Ninja Snake very quickly, because he is now going to get hunted down by Max Duca. Like I said, hasn't put quite the impression on that you'd have hoped so far. But further up, we've got Persegili picking up the slipstream, picking up DRS, and throwing up one down the inside of Decina de Largo. Oh, surely Cream will fight this one back. He's got the tyres to do it still. I think they'll drop off in maybe about another 5 laps. But for now, they should be more than good enough to fight Persegili and halter his race. Persegili would very much just like to disappear into the distance. But this squabbling has invited Solid Ninja Snake into the fold. And Persegili wants to be cautious here that he doesn't get double overtaken him down the next 2 straights, because they're going to come for him. Persegili showing good straight line speed. He doesn't look to be using too much. Creamer looks the inside, thinks better of it. He thinks that after the center S is the time to get him. Picking his lines well around here. Picks up his DRS again. Persegili's a little bit defensive, but not defensive enough. Creamer's up the inside. Solid State, who'd have liked to get on that, just couldn't quite do it. As Max Duke, after a long time of waiting, does get past Gulmov. He looks to come back absolutely immediately. Gulmov tapping him in the rear as he goes around, and that has spun Gulmov. Far too eager. And a bit of a dangerous rejoinment ghosting has taken effect. Claimed a few drivers already tonight as Ferradura. Max Duca has now been overtaken by Rising Moon. What a story here from Rising Moon. The man who must have had to pit for wing damage before the end of lap 1. Now up to 4th place, 3 seconds, maybe 4 or 5 seconds off the lead. He's got clean air and he's quickly building this gap to Max Duca. And Persegili's elected to duck under Creamer there. Into the first corner of Decina del Sol, but down Decina de Largo. Creamer's coming back again. Persegili gets a lead and a little bit more defensive there, but allows Persegili to be around the outside for a moment, but Creamer does get it done with the preferable inside line. Persegili is trying to make Creamer as uncomfortable as possible. Creamer staying cool. Solid Ninja Snake, I think, is doing the smart thing here, just waiting to pick up the pieces. He does not need to damage his tyres, his time in this race. As we have another yellow flag set to that Simi Running Monster round again on the grass. Not having a great time. Persegili comes again. It looks like they're just using each other for DRS at this time, which I think they won't mind too much if it means they get to pull away. But Rising Moon is coming. I mean, look at that, already momentarily underneath 3 seconds of Solid Ninja Snake, who's right with this. Rising Moon having dropped Max Duca by 2 seconds. Creamer not getting past this time, crucially. Maybe he wants to settle in. Now, realistically, in these scenarios where you are starting the Grand Prix behind a driver on a harder compound than you, the trick is to get ahead of them and go away, build a gap to actually get the full use out of your tyre, but that's not what's happening here. Persegili is damaging Creamer's race here, which will pay dividends in the end when he's the one on the faster tyre. Tezik now chasing down Gulmov, who is the only person so far to have picked up track limits. I believe that's what that is. As he does, as Max Duca is off for Magulio. He comes back on track quite dangerously. On Ghost gets going. That's one blue car of the Williams of Castleby, but then impedes Phoenix. Wonder if I have anything to say about that when he gets to the stewards. But Persegidi close again, looks to the outside. Creamer covers him off. As Batcher Lightyear now joins the penalty club with 3 seconds for crossing the white lines too many times. Max Duca even in a blue car sandwich. I'm sure Tezic or Phoenix like to kick him out of that. Pun very much intended. There comes Persegidi again. Quite the game these two are playing. So I suspect this will be another routine overtake into the first bend. Persegidi elects to go to the outside this time. Fastest line. And we'll see if Creamer comes back again. Oh, as Persegidi gets very out of shape into turn 1. This will be... Oh, no! Persegidi gets spun out. I must say that looked like it was quite a fair bit of his own doing. Continued to keep pushing on as he got unsettled. And that's invited Sunday onto Creamer. Rising Moon, his teammate, jumps into 3rd place and says, okay, I'll take the fight now. Tezic up the inside of Gulmov. Gulmov tries to hang around the outside. Oh, as they touch. And Gulmov retakes the position as Tezic gets out of shape. Driver's pushing so hard this evening. I can only imagine Max Duca is going to try and just drag these as long as people on the mediums have done. But I don't think this has played well for him. He's limping on these tyres. Now what can Sudden Intersnake do? He has the gap. The Persegidi and Creamer been keeping, but what can he do with it? He may choose to do something different. He may not be able to do something different. We don't know, but what can he do? What might he attempt into Decina Largo? The DRS is going to open as soon as he straightens up here. So you catch Max Duca overtaking the castle there. We'll go back to this fight. Sun Interstate just not looking that comfortable in the fight here. Tezic overtakes Gulmov down the straight. But Max Duca gets retaken again. This 3-car battle, keeping all 3 on their seats. Tezic and Gulmov side by side. Oh, they're still there. I think there was a small touch. A bit of rubbing, but rubbing is loving. And Gulmov will just see Tezic off for now. Here we go again. Solid Intersnake coming after Creamer. The halfway mark is coming. And that's Pedro round at the final turn. Tezic elects to overtake Gulmov before the second helping of DRS comes. But here comes Gulmov. This is open, but doesn't look like he's closing. Max Duca looks like he's going to throw on. And he does such great overspeed. Castle does look like it's a very good exit here, so he might start to challenge him up the hill. Looks for the outside move. Max Duca sees him off. Oh, Phoenix like he was going to throw a dive there. He has promised them. Round 5. Will anyone's jaw get rocked in this exchange? Some just think he's going to take the easy route. He's going to get the first, the initial move done into the first turn. But Creamer, I'm sure, is going to latch onto the back here, not let go until he's done with him. Already very early going to the inside. and full car's length ahead before going around to seeing the Largo. Then quite slow on the exit. Sun Ninja Snakes will like the look of this. And Rising Moon now close to half a second behind. Makes big closing gains there. Gormov and Tezik still going. Tezik showing great confidence on these hard tyres that should be starting to come into their own now. None of the hard tyres have really shown much of a form of a graining phase. Now second now covers the top three drivers. And they're just swapping positions for fun at this point. So it winds it up. He's doing nothing. He's not even thinking about the corner there. He's thinking about nothing other than that slipstream. To get out the braking a little bit. Rising Moon being very, very cautious. He's seen his teammate get knocked out from this front of the pack battle. Phoenix overtaking into Cinderlago. Looks like Castle. A lot of drivers looking for an outside move there, but the way the track drops away, you'll find yourself run out of usable road very quickly. We'll go back on board with this fight for the lead. 2 versus 1 with DRS. It hardly seems fair, but it's not all that fair when you're the one in the lead. You get to dictate the way. Creamer sets off again. He's really nailing these exits. He's not letting these two get anywhere near him, really. Now we can just make it to the pit stops. There's nose ahead. Might just have a shot at winning this. And Tezik and Gormov go at it again. He's down Gormov, Tezik up the inside of Gormov into the Cinderlago. Once again, another little look into Ferradura. Every driver that's gone out there so far hasn't come back with much. Not so much as milk from the shops. And now as we hit the halfway stage of this race, still no real strategic pit stops come so far. All the medium tire runners looking to go past the halfway point, which would indicate that they think the soft tyre can go. Max Duca has proven that it will make it, but not at a great pace. As we've got Phoenix and Castle both heading into the pits. We'll go with Max Duca, who is going to jump both of these guys in the pits now. Great job. Personally, since his incident, hasn't really made too much of an impression on this front pack. Maybe just biding his time, seeing his tyres out. Maybe looking to get on the soft tyre at the end. It's a great shot where you can see the other cars and the top of them as you look down on the track from on the track. So Cream once again there with an absolutely supreme exit. 8 attempts as he leaves the corner. Now these guys are going to get close, but they're not going to pass. Which is the key thing. It's one thing to catch. There's another thing to get past. Now these tyres must be absolutely crying now because they've just been putting in the absolute best performance that these tyres can do. As we pick up Tezik once again, him and Gormov just will not leave each other alone. This little fight in the midfield It's capturing the imaginations. And then we have Gormov like Creamer nailing his exit to get maximum speed to try and negate the DRS and ERS efficiencies of the car behind at second gap as he enters that section. So the big question, what's Rising Moon doing? Does he just think that the final stint is just for him? I mean, with the pace that Persegiddy's been running, he might back himself to run the hards all the way to the end, but it's a bit late for that now. He will not get that much of a benefit running the hards to the end now. Tezik once again. A bit bounding over the curb. Well, that won't deter him. But Gormov once again building up on the exit. Max Duca overtaking Simu Rally Monster, who started the race in second place. Now drops to P9 by Max Duca and even further down to P10. Max Duca could show a lot of promise with these medium tyres. He did pit at the halfway point, and he can run this well over halfway through the race with the lighter fuel. It's very, very smart. What do these guys do? These three leading this race show no interest in pitting. Oh, as I say that, commentators jinx Rising Moon enters the pits. Now, key to strategy for everybody else is what tyres does he go on here? I can only suspect the softs. Oh no! As I've just crucially, yes, Rising Moon did pit at the start of the race. I believe. I'm not quite sure what tyres Rising Moon started on. If he was on the hards, he can run a medium towards the end, yeah. But now, will Creamer and Southern Interstate react to that, or are they awaiting another safety car? Only time will tell. With Persegiddy having seen Rising Moon go into the pits, sees his Delta go back up to the lead. This is an absolutely supreme drive from Creamer. He pits, and Southern Interstate carries on. Oh, but no, dreadfully, Creamer has picked up a 5-second time penalty. That will really, really hurt his race. He's absolutely cursing in that pit block. As Persegiddy also elects the pit, I assume he's going to go on to this. No, Persegiddy, unlike Creamer, has gone onto the mediums as opposed to the softs. And Southern Ninja is probably thinking, well, if Creamer can go into the softs, why can't I? The answer is, you can. Of course you can. Provided you've run 2 compounds of tyre in the race. Simi Random wants to lighting up the timing screens here in his pursuit for Phoenix. And he's going to get even more speed here because he's going to get DRS on Phoenix. He almost bumped him up the rear as he came out the exit. DRS easy peasy into the Tina de Largo. Just prick the braking point and turn coming off the brake and powering out. Now Creamer in the effective net lead of this race. The Simi-Rana Monster becomes 1-2 full victims to the steward's rulings on track limits. Creamer overtaking Gormov, and I'm saying thank you for the DRS as I try and run away from Rising Moon. Rising Moon, who realistically is in the net P1 because he has pitted, he will have DRS, and he doesn't have a 5-second time penalty, which Creamer does. So unless Creamer can do something really spectacular on these tyres and pull that gap, Rising Moon's going to have him relatively shortly. Tezik overtaking Gulmov in the pits. Gulmov coming out fairly far behind now. Tezik electing to pit earlier and come out on the soft tyres, has put them to good use. So then you've got Phoenix following Gulmov. I think it's a bit outmatched with a slightly aging hard tyres versus Gulmov's fresh and sticky softs. Yeah, Simon said was dropped down now, and I think he should. He's only just come out on the softs, so he needs to light these up and get away from Perseguili. This could really be a four-way fight for the lead here. Perseguili on two up old medium, Sunny Snake on softs, on the newest softs on track, with Rising Moon and Creamer trying to get away. Currently stands Rising Moon. Probably would only lose his first place to second, but that's not what he wants. He just wants to win. I'm sure he does. As this three-way battle emerges between Gulmov, Phoenix and Pedro. Sorry, between Pedro, Bachelite and Castle. So I'm just like, may help a Cream and Rising Moon here by holding up Perseguili, but if its teams are basing this on, he doesn't owe them any favours. Now Gulmov lining up Simi Rally Monster. DRS opens, and look at the closing speed. He's going to have him up the inside here. Brake as late as you can, run them out, and off he goes. But DRS is going to open for Simi Rally Monster again, so he will get another bite at the cherry. Just when you think the fight's over in Brazil, it keeps on going. Now Perseguili is really with Solid Intersnake now. Doing his best to hold on to Creamer. It's a very good gap he's pulling, but it is not going to be enough to oversee the penalty that he has received. I think Perseguili has to make this pass now. His race charge depends on it. Yes, he does. Already low on his ERS. Solid Mistake is going to fight back against Perseguili. He has every right to do it. Just a bit frowned upon by those people in Mercedes sometimes if you question the competitiveness of their car. But Pedro looks like he's getting double overtaken here. But no, gets his elbows out against Castle. And that's still got the oldest tyres on track at the moment. Maybe starting to feel a little bit of hurt. But he probably does back himself to see these to the end. Only 9 laps now. So I'm saying just keep in touch, but not really bothering Perseguili. Kind of a true champion, you can let someone just sit in your mirror and not be too phased. You do your race, you do yours. If you give me trouble, I deal with it. Simi Rally Monster on Gulmov. What's the battle I maybe would have picked at the start of the race, but an intriguing one all the same. Two essentially sister team drivers racing together down to Cine Lago. Seems like it is closing, but not quite enough. Guys, I just dropped off a fair bit here. I do wonder what's going on there. Man, lap hold hard. Shouldn't be struggling too much at this stage. And Creamer, who's just ever so desperately trying to pull this 5-second gap and keep himself on the podium. At the moment it would, but that time is changing all the time. There's literally maybe 1 or 2 tenths in it. It's Pedro again. He's eyeing up Bachelor Lightyear. He got very close on the exit. DRS. And in he goes into turn 1. Rising really up on the back of Creamer now. Not sure if that was a mistake from Creamer. With DRS, this should be an easy pass. Mercedes power versus Mercedes power. Questionable how well they're both doing so far this season in comparison to one another. But for now, Rising Moon from the back of the grid now claims the lead on track. Put his name into the hat for driver of the day. That says it creeping on Max Dukas though. Max Dukas, he managed to creep himself into P5 very quietly. DRS opens for Tezic. Try and chase down Max Duka, but it isn't enough straight line speed for now. Bachelor Lightyear trying to go one up the inside of Pedro, and he gets it done. Super clean, super fair racing. But Pedro, with a bit of attitude, wanting to be thrown back, looks to the outside, keeps his nose marginally in there, but Bachelor Lightyear says, no, that's not enough, goodbye. Further field, Tezic just is not leaving Max Duka alone. Like right now, and he's all Italian colours, not gearbox. He wants to clean them off with a heavily treated sponge and put papaya all over it until it gets ahead marginally on the start-finish line. But Max Duka is held station ahead of Tezic for so long. Maybe not too comfortable with being given that station himself. What about Pedro down to Ciandelago? Battery operation in use. It cuts across very, very sharply and pulls through the corner. The Castle is probably getting bad to worse at the back, and now with a 3-second time penalty. What about Cream and Persegili though? Still a lot to play for. Cream and Rising Moon, sorry, just so used to that Mercedes being Persegili. But now Rising Moon putting in a great performance to keep Cream behind. He's blinking now though, so maybe Cream will sense blood and will go after it. Not quite through there just yet. Third on through, got Simi Rana Monster running after Gulmov. Gulmov now joining the fight for Max Duka. with Tezik, Max Duga, who has just dropped off the back of Tezik just for a little while. So yeah, 3 and go in they go. Will anything change come the start finish straight? But we're just going to pick up Creamer, who's down to a quarter of a second. He dives the inside into the center S, and very sensibly gets that move done. But now he has to defend for all his might, because believe you me, Rising Moon is coming back with ERS, with a lot of deployment, with DRS. Yeah, nothing done that time. It's very close, down to under 2/10. Max Duca really wants Gulmov, and then in turn Tezik. This battle in the midfield is really hotting up. Containing of the normal backfield team apart. Yeah, and Tezik is leading this madness. I'm calling you on a trolley with a trolley train. And we've got Rising Moon diving up the inside. There's only 2 laps left to decide this race. So we're going to get very tactical as we start to see drivers pick which DRS detections they're wanting to go through and have for the advantage. Because if you get DRS on the final corner and then try and use that advantage against your significant other, it will not help you. Oof. But no, we are 2 laps to go here, and Creamer, if we're thinking which lap is it, which lap, which DRS zone do I want to take him on, where is it going to be, and after that, where is it going to be hard for him to take me back? So 7/10 is the gap. This is the penultimate lap they're leading on to. Gulmov elects to go past Tezik now. They go back to the lead. Some awful camera angles. Rising Moon leads them away, but with limited ERS to deploy. So Creamer's going to close in with DRS and take this one round the outside. And as Rising Moon hops, skips and jumps over to Ciandelago, as you almost forget that Creamer on track is going to take the win, it seems so far, but it's probably the 2nd or 3rd place now, with Persegili in this as well, having come back from his spin, who's probably actually going to take the top step. With Solid Ninja Snake 7 seconds behind, at least Creamer will have the comfort of knowing that his podium position is relatively secure. So this is really playing in the hands of Persegili, who doesn't even need to overtake both cars. He only needs the one, and this win is his. But Rising Moon wants to defend himself. Oh, as he gets very heavy on the defence, does Creamer, to keep Rising Moon off of him. But now the last DRS zone coming up here, one that you can really use because the final one is cut in half. Rising Moon goes to the outside. Creamer moves late to have that covered off. Creamer giving all the space necessary. Rising Moon now with the harder compound. And Creamer doing a fantastic job to hold both on the outside. It's like Persegili is just really trying to pick his spot here. This is at least 2nd place, but now he does need to get past 2 cars if he wants this win. Rising Moon now will want to run away with this. Persegili just runs this line. I think that is all she wrote. and Rising Moon. The rest and look behind. These two are absolutely running against the line with DRS. Oh, it's Persegili. That was so close. Persegili only missing out on Rising Moon by 2/100ths of a second. But as we go a bit further back, this battle, which has been enthralling in the middle part of the race, all finishing very, very close. Simi Ranamonster with that penalty jumps that down to 8th place. For Bachelor Lightyear and Pedro. Everyone down here has had some sort of wondering in the incident spinning on the track. Oh, but for last place, here we go. And there we go. And that concludes round 15, the final round of AOR's F1 Championship for this season on the F1 23 game. I must agree that Driver of the Day must go to Rising Moon, being last place on after the end of the first lap and fighting through and getting back into contention so quickly. I will give my Driver of the Day to Rising Moon. So yeah, I hope everybody does well. You've got a lovely summer to enjoy now. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the stream. This is my last time commentating for you until other arrangements are made. So I hope you get someone just as good to cover the action. It's been well worth watching. If you have enjoyed what you've been seeing and you'd like to join in the action for the 24 game, I'm sure we can get you a link to the Discord if you just drop your name in the comments and someone will get back to you. Anyway, there you go. There's the results for the Grand Prix. Rising Moon just edging up Persegili at the end after Creamer also would have been in there, but actually second place before the penalty. Sun Ninja Snake finishing solidly there, actually in 4th place. A very good result for him. Tezik, I'm assuming with DRS, got the fastest lap there. So great work for him. Followed by Max Duca, Gulmov, Simu Rallymonster, who was thwarted with a few spins, Bachelor Lightyear, Pedro, Phoenix, and Castle. And then the unfortunate accidents at the start of the Grand Prix with Super Jesse and Lucasone. But anyway, thank you everybody. I've been Greg, otherwise known as the Woofafa. You can speak to me in the Discord. I'm not leaving the Discord, just the commentary role for a while. And hopefully see you back some other time. Bye now.